In a world where kids have access to every screen you can think of, the families with the most resources are choosing to give their children, well, almost none of it. No iPads at dinner, no endless YouTube, and no constant river of social media. This isn't because they're stuck in the past, it's because they know something the rest of us are just starting to realize. Why is it that in our hyper-connected world, some of the most influential families are deliberately and strategically unplugging their kids? What do they know that we don't? This isn't a story about hating technology. It's a story about a conscious strategy for success. For these families, the old money dynasties who have held on to wealth and influence for generations, childhood isn't for passive entertainment. It's the critical window for forging the leaders, thinkers, and creators of tomorrow. So today, we're looking at their playbook. This is your insider's guide to why the elite are raising their kids in a surprisingly low-tech world. We'll explore the why, and more importantly, we'll reveal the what. What are these kids doing if they're not scrolling TikTok or leveling up in a video game? The answers might surprise you, but they also hold the key to a powerful parenting philosophy that anyone at any income level can learn from. Stick with us as we uncover the secrets of the analog childhood. Chapter 1. The Problem, the Digital Deluge and the Parental Paradox. Let's be honest, modern childhood is saturated. It's a constant fire hose of notifications, algorithm-fed content, and fleeting digital drama. The average American child now spends several hours a day on a device. For teens, that number can climb even higher, with some studies showing averages of over 7 hours of entertainment screen time daily. We've normalized the digital babysitter, the tablet at the restaurant, the smartphone that ends a tantrum. We see it as a necessary tool to get through our busy lives. But what's the real cost? A growing body of research paints a worrying picture. While the science is still evolving, numerous studies show a correlation between excessive screen time and a cascade of negative effects: disrupted sleep, a higher risk of anxiety and depression, and challenges with emotional regulation. Studies have found that the more time children spend with screens, the more likely they may be to develop behavioral issues like aggression and hyperactivity. It can affect their ability to focus, to think deeply, and, maybe most importantly, to connect with people who are right there in the room. When kids are constantly exposed to the rapid-fire stimulation of digital media, their brains are being trained for distraction, not concentration. This brings us to a fascinating paradox. It's telling that some of the very architects of our digital world have been remarkably strict about their own children's screen time. Steve Jobs, the visionary behind the iPhone and iPad, was famously cautious. In an interview with the New York Times, he revealed, "We limit how much technology our kids use at home." Think about that. The man who kicked off the tablet revolution put firm limits on it for his own kids. Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft, capped screen time for his children and didn't allow them to have their own cell phones until they were 14 years old. That's a stark contrast to today, when many kids get their first phone around age 10 or 11. This decision came after he noticed his daughter developing what he called an unhealthy attachment to a video game. Tech executives like Evan Spiegel, the founder of Snapchat, have similar rules, creating noticeably low-tech homes for their own families. This isn't hypocrisy, it's insider knowledge. These leaders understand the core design of their products. They know these platforms are engineered to be addictive, to capture our attention and deliver dopamine hits that keep us coming back. And they know a developing brain is uniquely vulnerable to this design. As Chris Anderson, former editor of Wired, put it, he'd seen the dangers of technology firsthand and didn't want his kids to fall into the same addictive traps. These tech insiders, much like the old money families we're about to explore, recognize that true success in the 21st century won't be determined by how well you can navigate a user interface. It will be determined by a set of timeless, deeply human skills: the ability to focus, the capacity for creative thought, and the emotional intelligence to build strong relationships in the real world. The problem, as they see it, isn't technology itself. The problem is displacement. It's what that screen time is costing. Every moment a child spends staring at a screen is a moment they are not building a fort, not learning to read body language, not navigating a playground disagreement, not getting lost in a book, and not experiencing the character-building power of boredom. They are choosing to protect these invaluable experiences, seeing them not as trivial pastimes, but as the fundamental building blocks of a successful life. Chapter 2. The Old Money Philosophy, a long-term investment in human capital. While Silicon Valley moguls offer a modern cautionary tale, this philosophy has its deepest roots in the old money mindset. These are families who haven't just made money, they've sustained it and their influence across generations. For them, parenting is the ultimate long-term investment. It's not about providing fleeting happiness or catering to every whim. It's about cultivating human capital, the personal attributes, knowledge, and social skills that ensure the family's legacy continues. This philosophy is built on two secrets that are almost rebellious in our instant gratification world. Secret number 1. The sanctity of the formative years. Old money families view childhood as a sacred, unrepeatable window of opportunity. This is when the bedrock of a person's character, intellect, and emotional landscape is formed. They understand that what a child does during these years doesn't just pass the time, it actively builds their brain. From this perspective, passive, entertainment-focused screen time is seen as a low-value input. Think of it like farming. If you wanted to grow the strongest oak tree, you wouldn't feed it sapling sugar water and artificial light. You'd give it rich soil, clean water, and natural sunlight, letting its roots grow deep. Passive screen time is the sugar water of child development. It's entertaining, but it offers little real nourishment for a developing mind. Every hour a child is pacified by a tablet is an hour they aren't engaging in the rich soil activities that build a resilient mind. Real-world problem-solving, face-to-face interaction, and deep, imaginative play. The concept of opportunity cost is everything. They don't ask, what's the harm of 1 hour of TV? They ask, what incredible thing could my child be doing and learning in this hour instead? Could they be learning the discipline of an instrument? The joy of getting lost in a novel? The social skills of negotiating a game with a sibling? These are the high-value activities that screens so easily displace. Secret number 2. Valuing producers over consumers. This leads to the second and perhaps most powerful secret, a deep focus on raising producers, not consumers. Our modern economy, especially the digital world, is built on consumption. We're encouraged to watch, scroll, buy, and react. Screens are the ultimate delivery system for this culture, training us from a young age to be passive recipients of content made by others. The old money philosophy flips this completely. The goal is to raise a child who creates, leads, builds, and contributes value to the world. They aren't training their kids to be spectators in the game of life. They're training them to be players on the field, and maybe even to design the game. The distinction is crucial. Consuming is easy and passive. Producing is hard and active. Consuming is a flick of a finger. Producing requires discipline, skill, and perseverance. So, the activities their children are guided toward are all acts of production. Learning to play the piano is producing music. Learning to sail is producing a result by applying knowledge of wind and physics. Learning to write a compelling letter is producing effective communication. Even putting on a play with their cousins is an act of creation, producing a story and a performance from pure imagination. By limiting screens, they are limiting a child's training as a consumer. They are steering them toward the more challenging but ultimately more rewarding path of active output. They understand that a life of meaning and influence is a life of production. You don't build a legacy by scrolling through one. You build it by creating something that lasts. Chapter 3. What they do instead. The analog curriculum for success. So, if the screens are off, what exactly fills the days of children in these households? It's not an empty void. It is a carefully curated, though often subtly managed, analog curriculum designed to build the very skills the digital world can erode. This curriculum rests on several key pillars. Pillar number 1. The primacy of reading, building the deep thinking mind. In a household guided by this philosophy, you're less likely to find the latest gaming console and more likely to find a library. Books aren't just decor, they are the primary tools for intellectual development. We're not just talking about bedtime stories, but creating a culture where reading is a central family activity. The reason goes beyond literacy. Reading a physical book is a cognitive workout. Unlike a quick-cut video, a book forces the brain to slow down. It requires sustained focus, the ability to follow complex plots, and the mental work of turning words on a page into a rich, internal world. This process builds what is often called the deep thinking mind, fostering a longer attention span and a stronger imagination. You'll find homes where books are everywhere. Family time might mean everyone reading their own book in the same room. Dinner conversations often circle back to ideas from books, history, biographies, classic novels. This isn't just about absorbing information, it's about learning how to analyze and discuss complex ideas. Pillar number 2, the power of unstructured play, where creativity begins. In our highly scheduled world, we see boredom as a problem to be solved, usually with a screen. In this philosophy, boredom is a feature, not a bug. It's seen as the essential starting point for creativity. Unstructured play, time where kids are left to their own devices without adult direction or a digital screen, is fiercely protected. When a child says, "I'm bored," the response isn't a tablet. It's more likely, "That's wonderful. I can't wait to see what you create." This emptiness is where real creativity is born. A bored child will eventually turn a stick into a sword or build a fortress out of chairs and blankets. They'll invent elaborate games with siblings, learning to negotiate rules, collaborate, and resolve conflicts on their own. This kind of play is a laboratory for life's most critical skills, building resilient and self-reliant individuals. Pillar number 3, the mastery of hard hobbies, cultivating discipline and grit. You'll often find the children in these families engaged in hard hobbies, pursuits that demand sustained effort, discipline, and tolerating frustration. Think of learning a classical instrument, competing in a demanding sport like tennis or sailing, or dedicating time to ballet or painting. The specific hobby matters less than its character. The key is that it's difficult and requires long-term commitment. Unlike a video game offering instant rewards, mastering a hard hobby is a slow, often tough process. It takes years of practice and pushing through plateaus. This process cultivates grit, the passion and perseverance for long-term goals that is a key predictor of success. Learning an instrument teaches focus and delayed gratification. These hobbies build a deep, earned confidence that comes from knowing you faced a real challenge and, through your own effort, achieved mastery. Pillar number 4, the art of conversation, forging social capital. Perhaps the most fiercely guarded tradition is the tech-free dinner table. This isn't just about manners, it's the central training ground for the art of conversation. In a world of texts and emojis, the ability to engage in thoughtful, face-to-face conversation is becoming a rare superpower. At these dinner tables, children are expected to participate. They learn to listen to adults, articulate their opinions, ask good questions, and tell a compelling story. They learn the subtle arts of reading body language and making eye contact, skills impossible to get from a screen. This is the process of building social capital, a social grace and confidence that opens doors and builds relationships throughout life. Pillar number 5, a connection to the real world, nature, culture, and responsibility. Finally, the analog curriculum emphasizes a deep connection to the real, tangible world. This includes a strong emphasis on outdoor activities, hiking, gardening, or simply spending time in nature. There's also a commitment to cultural engagement, taking children to museums, theaters, and historical sites to build a rich base of cultural literacy. Lastly, there is an emphasis on responsibility. Children are often taught that with privilege comes a duty to contribute. This might involve volunteering, taking part in family philanthropy, or being given meaningful chores. This instills a sense of purpose and teaches them that they are not just inheritors of a legacy, but its stewards. Chapter 4. How to apply the old money mindset without the fortune. It's easy to hear about horseback riding lessons and think, that's great, but it has nothing to do with my life. But you'd be missing the point. The power of this philosophy isn't the money, it's the mindset. The principles of raising capable, creative, and resilient kids are universal. You don't need a trust fund to use the analog curriculum. You just need to be intentional. So, how can you apply this mindset in your own family, regardless of your budget? First, for pillar number 1, reading, you don't need a fancy library. You need a library card. Make a weekly trip to the local library a family ritual. Then, create a reading ritual at home. Maybe 20 minutes every evening where everyone, parents included, puts their phones away and reads. By modeling the behavior, you create a culture of reading. Next, for pillar number 2, unstructured play, embrace boredom. The next time your child complains there's nothing to do, resist the urge to solve it for them. Instead, create a boredom box. Fill a simple container with open-ended materials, cardboard tubes, string, tape, old fabric, markers. These are the raw materials of imagination. And send them outside to just go play. Their capacity for invention will astound you. For pillar number 3, mastering a hard hobby. This isn't about expensive lessons, it's about cultivating grit. Encourage your child to choose one hard thing and commit to it for a set time, like a school year. It could be learning guitar from free online tutorials, joining the school cross-country team, or mastering a complex Lego set. The activity doesn't matter. What matters is the process. Setting a goal, practicing, overcoming frustration, and feeling the pride of sticking with something difficult. To apply pillar number 4, the art of conversation, start with one simple revolutionary step. Reclaim the dinner table. Institute a strict rule, the tech-free table. No phones, no tablets, no TV in the background. At first, it might be awkward. Stick with it. Ask open-ended questions like, what was the most interesting part of your day? Or, if you could solve one problem in the world, what would it be? This single change can transform a family's dynamic. Finally, for pillar number 5, a connection to the real world. You don't need box seats at the opera. Plan a weekly adventure. It can be a hike on a local trail, a visit to a free museum day, or volunteering together at a local food bank for an afternoon. The goal is to consistently pull your family out of the digital world and into the tangible one, creating shared memories along the way. If these ideas for building a more present and engaged future for your children resonate with you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. We believe the best ideas come from shared experience. So I'm curious, what is the one hard thing you encourage in your household? Or what is your family's favorite screen-free activity? Share it in the comments below. Your idea might just be the spark another family needs. And if you're looking for more strategies, be sure to check out our video on the 7 habits of highly effective families right here. As we've seen, the philosophy of limiting screen time is not an act of deprivation, it is an act of intentional cultivation. It's about consciously clearing away the digital noise to make space for the things that truly build a capable, well-rounded human being. It's about recognizing that creativity isn't downloaded, it's developed in the quiet moments of boredom. It's knowing that resilience isn't won in a video game. It's forged in the patient, frustrating, and rewarding pursuit of a difficult skill. And it's understanding that social intelligence isn't built with likes and comments, but through the messy, beautiful, and irreplaceable experience of face-to-face human connection. The great paradox of our time might be this. In a world of unprecedented technological access, the greatest advantage you can give your child isn't the latest gadget. It's the ability to thrive without one.
It's the internal resources, the focus, creativity, social grace, and grit that will allow them to navigate any challenge and build a life of purpose. This philosophy isn't about rejecting the modern world, it's about giving our children the foundational skills they need to master it, rather than be mastered by it. It's about raising not just successful children, but interesting, resourceful, and deeply engaged individuals. And that is a legacy worth more than any fortune.